Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a moment that could redefine the future of Belarus, a country long seen as politically frozen, suddenly showing deep cracks within its power structure. What we are witnessing is not just public unrest or foreign pressure, but a serious internal challenge where senior military figures are beginning to take a stand, sending shockwaves through the state system. For decades, Belarus has been ruled through a tightly controlled political and security framework. Power has been centralized, loyalty has been enforced, and dissent has been suppressed. The army and security forces have always been considered the strongest pillars supporting the leadership. That is why recent developments are so significant and alarming for those in power. The crisis did not appear overnight. It has been building slowly, fueled by economic pressure, international isolation, and growing dissatisfaction within society. Sanctions have strained the economy, reduced state revenues, and limited access to international markets. Ordinary citizens have felt the impact through rising prices, shrinking opportunities, and uncertainty about the future. At the same time, trust between the government and the people has eroded. Past elections, mass protests, and harsh crackdowns left deep scars. Many Belarusians began to question not only political leadership, but the entire system that kept repeating the same cycle of control and repression. What makes the current situation different is the role of the military leadership. Generals are not street protesters. They are individuals who have spent their lives within the system, benefiting from it, enforcing its rules, and protecting its survival. When such figures begin to question orders or openly express concern, it signals something far more serious than routine unrest. Reports suggest that some senior officers are increasingly uncomfortable with being used as tools of internal repression. The army was trained to defend the nation, not to intimidate its own people. As public dissatisfaction grows, the moral and professional burden on military leaders has become heavier. There is also frustration over strategic decisions that place Belarus in a vulnerable position internationally. Close alignment with powerful allies has brought security guarantees, but it has also dragged the country into geopolitical tensions beyond its control. Some generals fear that Belarus is losing its sovereignty piece by piece. Military leadership is often pragmatic. Generals calculate risks, stability, and long-term survival. They see the consequences of isolation, weakened defense capabilities, and declining morale within the ranks. Soldiers come from the same society that is struggling economically, and their loyalty cannot be taken for granted forever. Another factor is generational change within the armed forces. Younger officers have different perspectives. They are more exposed to global information, less ideologically rigid, and more aware of how modern militaries function in professional, accountable states. This generational shift has slowly altered internal discussions. The stand taken by some generals does not necessarily mean an immediate coup or open rebellion. Instead, it reflects resistance, hesitation, and refusal to blindly follow orders that could lead to national catastrophe. Even silence or delay from military leadership can change the balance of power. For an authoritarian system, control over the army is essential. Once that control weakens, the entire structure becomes unstable. Leaders may still command police forces and intelligence agencies, but without full military loyalty, their authority is fundamentally challenged. This situation puts the leadership in a difficult position. Cracking down on generals risks fracturing the army further. Ignoring their concerns risks appearing weak. Negotiating with them risks acknowledging that the old model of rule is failing. International observers are watching closely. Neighboring countries, regional powers, and global actors all understand the significance of military dissent in Belarus. Any major shift could alter regional security dynamics, especially given Belarus's strategic location. For the public, the news brings cautious hope mixed with fear. On one hand, military restraint could prevent further bloodshed and open a path toward dialogue. On the other hand, uncertainty always carries risk, especially in states where sudden change has historically led to instability. It is important to understand that generals taking a stand does not automatically mean they support democratic reform. Their primary concern may be stability, national interest, or institutional survival. However, their actions can still create space for political change. History shows that when armies refuse to suppress their own people, authoritarian systems struggle to survive. This does not guarantee a peaceful transition, but it shifts momentum away from absolute control and toward negotiation or transformation. The leadership may attempt to restore loyalty through promotions, purges, or increased surveillance within the military. Such measures, however, often deepen mistrust. An army ruled by fear is less effective and more prone to internal collapse. Economic realities also play a role. Military budgets depend on a functioning economy. Prolonged sanctions and isolation weaken not only civilian life but also defense readiness. Generals understand that a weakened army cannot protect the nation in the long run. Another layer of complexity is external pressure. Allies may push Belarus to maintain a hard line, while adversaries may encourage division. Generals must navigate these pressures while trying to protect national interests rather than foreign agendas. The crisis highlights a broader question about Belarus's future. Will it continue along a path of rigid control and dependency, or will internal forces push for a more balanced, sovereign, and stable direction? The military's position will be crucial in answering this question. For now, the situation remains tense and uncertain. Small signals, private meetings, and subtle shifts in behavior matter more than dramatic announcements. In such moments, silence from generals can speak louder than words. The coming months will be decisive. If military leadership continues to resist being used against the population, it could force political compromise. If loyalty is restored through force or fear, the crisis may be delayed but not resolved. Belarus stands at a crossroads. The stand taken by generals represents more than internal disagreement. It reflects the limits of authoritarian control in a changing world where even the most disciplined institutions are not immune to social and political pressure. This is not just a Belarusian story. It is a reminder that power structures rely on human decisions, and when those at the top of the chain begin to question their role, history can take an unexpected turn. As events unfold, one thing is clear: the image of absolute stability in Belarus has been broken. The crisis has moved from the streets into the heart of the state, and the choices made by military leaders may shape the country's destiny for years to come. Stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story, breaking down its implications, its risks, and its potential outcomes, because what happens next in Belarus could redefine not only its own future, but the balance of power across the region.